Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Another meeting set for today with Labour Ministry and disgruntled workers at Breathless and Secrets Resort in Montego Bay, St. James. Constituents in Northwest St. Elizabeth call for the removal of J.C. Hutchinson as their Member of Parliament. And later in sports, Reggae Boys head coach encourages team to be fearless ahead of USA clash in Nations League. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kerry-Ann Simpson. Here are the details. The tropical wave that has been impacting weather conditions across Jamaica since yesterday afternoon has now merged with the broad area of low pressure south of Jamaica. The Meteorological Service says this system is expected to continue influencing weather conditions across the island through to the weekend. Satellite imagery indicates a large but gradually organizing area of showers and thunderstorms across the central and southwestern Caribbean Sea. This system is progressing slowly westward and has a high chance of tropical depression development within the next 48 hours in the vicinity of Jamaica. Now, the Met Service says regardless of the stage of development, the area of low pressure is expected to bring continued and increased rainfall to Jamaica through to at least Sunday afternoon. The forecast is for cloudy conditions with periods of showers and thunderstorms, which may be heavy at times to affect sections of all parishes, especially southern parishes during this period. Fishers on the Keys and Banks, especially those inshore and offshore the south coast, are urged to exercise extreme caution as sea conditions will continue to deteriorate in the vicinity of showers and thunderstorms. Another meeting is set for today with the Labour Ministry and disgruntled parties at Breathless and Secrets Resorts in Montego Bay, St. James. O'Shane Masters reports.
There's a hope that all will be well following negotiations with staff and management at Breathless and Secrets Resorts in Montego Bay, St. James. It comes after disgruntled workers walked off the job yesterday, complaining about a number of issues including low wages and being overworked. And just like last month at Royalton, guests were left to feel the brunt of the impact. Shadow spokesperson on tourism, Senator Janice Allen, says the issues aired are deeply concerning and needs to be addressed with urgency.
We must do better for the people who are the backbone of Jamaica's tourism industry. As I said earlier today, yes, we want investors to make profits, but our people should also feel the profits. Workers are vital to this industry's success, and we cannot continue to overwork them, ignore their concerns, and fail to compensate them fairly.
She's therefore calling on the Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett to give greater credence to the plight of the tourism workers. Senator Allen says the focus cannot only be on adding additional rooms.
At this rate, as I said today, we won't have willing people to work in these many hotels that are coming on stream. Jamaica's tourism success depends on these workers, and it's time we put them first.
Meanwhile, the Labour Ministry says dialogue will continue with management on the issues highlighted. However, a word of caution from Labour Minister Pernell Charles Jr.
To urge employers to have and to create open lines of communication for internal management of workers' concerns. This is critical if we are going to maintain the balance and the harmony between stakeholders in these important sectors.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Constituents in Northwest St. Elizabeth are this afternoon calling for the removal of their Member of Parliament, J.C. Hutchinson. The supporters bearing placards gathered at the MP's office Wednesday morning. Their placards bore concerns about the MP's supposed lack of vision for the constituency. Now, Mr. Hutchinson has been the MP for the past 27 years, but his constituents say they are tired of the promises.
Right now, because when we look on the road, JC not doing nothing to hit the lot of all now. Look on the straight road. Look at what time. I'll just behave with like that. Man, we go at one side, man. I think time move now, man.
Over the years in a power, and I don't see what he is doing to Northeast West, Northwest, St. Elizabeth. So he must go in, can expire, so he must go make a younger set come and take his seat. The last election, I don't vote for Ochi. So the next election, next year, they say to run, I will never vote if he no come out. We get rid of Ochi.
Him time has come, you know. Him fool the people, them has enough. And the people, them make up their mind and you know, say, higher authority need to come on the ground and come know what go on.
Now we attempted to reach Mr. Hutchinson, but calls to his phone went to voicemail. Kingston and St. Andrew Mayor Andrew Swaby says there are no immediate plans to increase market fees. He addressed the issue at yesterday's Municipal Corporation meeting. Krista Campbell reports.
At a recent town hall meeting, officials from the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation lamented the impact of low market fees and high cost of maintenance. It was revealed the municipality was losing about $166 million annually because of low market fees. The fee is currently $500 weekly. Although hinting at the need for restructuring, Kingston Mayor Andrew Swaby is dismissing social media reports of a fee hike and the removal of vendors from the streets as false. Speaking at the Municipal Corporation's monthly meeting on Tuesday, he suggested the reports are politically motivated.
Let me be perfectly clear about this. As I have consistently stated, no decision affecting our vendors will be made without their engaging in thorough consultation and discussions with them. This is precisely the reason I've reinstated the vending committee with representatives of the vendors themselves, something that previous administration disregarded entirely.
Noting that this is a sensitive matter, he says the leadership of the municipality will be meeting with various stakeholders to find a workable solution. But even with that approach, he says there is some resistance.
My warning to persons who aim to misinform the public and to stir up fear and confusion, you will not succeed. Your tactics are evident, and they only serve to undermine the work that we are trying to accomplish. It has always been my practice to invite both sides of the political divide at all meetings. For the vending meeting, the ranking member have always been invited. However, he always provided an excuse and apologized for his absence. I've now invited the Deputy Mayor to be a part of the discussions with our vendors as we will try to find workable solutions that will promote transparency, accountability.
He insists the KCMC's approach will be transparent, fair and respectful, and any attempt to distort the facts will be challenged at every level. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
In the meantime, Mayor Swaby is urging the Jamaica Public Service JPS to double their efforts to fix non-functioning street lights across the municipality.
We are aware that JPS is able to detect when street lights are not working without us reporting it to them, as they have this technology to do so. However, this is not demonstrated in their response, as these lights remain unrepaired for months. This is an issue that the JPS needs to address urgently to ensure the technology delivers the promised benefits. Our goal is to have Kingston shining brightly this festive season, fostering a safe, secure, and vibrant city for all to enjoy.
Work is set to begin on the roadway which links Silo and Balaclava in St. Elizabeth in another week. That's according to Minister with Responsibility for Works, Robert Morgan. The roadway collapsed last week during heavy rainfall caused by Tropical Storm Raphael. Minister Morgan says an assessment has already been carried out.
I have given instructions to the National Works Agency to use whatever emergency mechanism they have to repair that break in the road. I think it's a culvert that has collapsed. It is a very serious issue because people have to be driving through the cane piece, which is not safe, and it is not, the cane piece was not built to take traffic. So it is impacting schools, it is impacting a very important industry such as the Appleton Estates, and also impacting regular citizens. So the instruction has been given. I think there's a contract that should be in place so we can quickly, within another week or so, start work to repair that.
It's now time for a break. Stay with us. More local stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
The government will be borrowing another $52 billion by floating a 20-day fixed rate 7% per annum certificate of deposit today. Some $49 billion of this amount will be allocated through competitive bidding, while $2.6 billion will be allocated through non-competitive bidding. All bids from the public sector must be submitted on a competitive basis. The settlement date will be November 15 and the maturity date December 13. Boeing machinists in Washington state recently voted to end a strike that lasted weeks, and on Tuesday, thousands of employees returned to work under a new labor contract that includes raises each year for 4 years. Now, despite ending the strike, Boeing plans to cut 17,000 jobs. The announcement now adds uncertainty for employees. So far, Boeing officials have declined to say which job titles will be impacted during the layoffs. And inflation in the US moved in the wrong direction last month. It shows consumer prices rose 0.2% in October. Housing-related inflation accounted for half of the monthly rise, while energy prices were flat. Still, inflation has eased considerably since it peaked at 9.1% in June 2022. Now, October's increase was the first time the annual rate bumped higher since March. For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's health report.
In this evening's health report, we look at difficulty swallowing.
In the Middle Ages, one of the issues that we look for in patients who have difficulty swallowing are cancers. And that's often the reason that many patients come to us, because they're concerned that this problem that they're having with swallowing may be related to a cancer in the throat or in the gullet, which we call the esophagus. And so these patients need to be evaluated by their doctor to rule out pathologies such as cancer.
That's the health report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Take a few sips of water to moisten your throat before you swallow medicine. Stand up or sit down when you swallow pill. Drink a full glass of water to swallow medicine. And after you swallow medicine, don't lie down right away.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres is again calling for Haitian stakeholders to work constructively towards expediting the political transition and restoring democratic institutions in the country. This process again hit a snag after Haitian Prime Minister Gary Conille was fired by the country's ruling council less than 6 months after he took office. He's been replaced by former Haitian Senate candidate Alex Didier Fils-Aimé. On the international scene, Donald Trump is headed back to Washington. The president-elect is scheduled to meet with President Joe Biden in a matter of hours to discuss the transition process. It's a tradition for the outgoing president to host the incoming commander-in-chief after the election. Now, following a disappointing loss for the Democratic Party, Biden has been intentional in his efforts to endorse the sanctity of the election and acknowledge Trump's victory. Now, this meeting comes as Biden works to secure his legacy and Trump prepares to take office, tapping loyalists for key positions that offer a glimpse into how certain policies may be implemented. And several airlines have canceled flights to and from Bali due to dangerous ash clouds from a volcano near the Indonesian holiday island. The airlines advised passengers that the ash from the mountain has made it unsafe to fly. The volcano spewed a 9-kilometer ash column into the sky over the weekend, 1 week after a major eruption killed 10 people. Now, Australia's Bureau of Meteorology has also warned that the volcanic ash might drift to parts of the country's north on Wednesday. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Amoy Harriet.
Thanks, Amoy, and we head to another break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.